Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today we're diving into an important question. Will the strength of the US dollar continue? Or are we looking at an impending crisis that could send gold and silver prices soaring? Despite the current falling rate of inflation, fears of it raising its head cannot be ignored. And the growing national debt in the United States, now just shy of $36 trillion, is serious cause for alarm. Despite this, the dollar index is still above 100, holding at around 104 as of today. But what does this mean for the future of the dollar, and how might it affect precious metals? Before we look at this, first, if you enjoy videos that dig into the realities of finance, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's start where the US dollar stands today. The US dollar index, which measures the dollar's strength against a basket of other major currencies, remains quite high at around 104. But despite its resilience, there's an ongoing race between the United States, Europe, and the UK over lowering interest rates, which could shift this index in the coming months. The situation is unusual, as we typically see the dollar weaken when interest rates fall. But with central banks worldwide lowering rates, the dollar is being held up because other major currencies are also depreciating in value. In some ways, it's a race to the bottom, where each country is trying to make its currency relatively weaker to promote exports and economic growth. So while the dollar remains strong on paper, this is more a reflection of global economic trends rather than actual dollar strength. Meanwhile, the underlying purchasing power of the dollar continues to erode. As the dollar holds its ground for now, the question becomes, how long will this last? Historically, fiat currencies, those backed solely by government decree, tend to lose value over time, eventually becoming worthless. All fiat currencies, by definition, must fail because they rely on faith alone without an intrinsic store of value. This brings us to gold and silver, which are not only limited in supply, but have also served as trusted stores of value for thousands of years. Unlike fiat currencies, precious metals don't suffer from inflation in the same way because they cannot be printed or artificially increased. As the purchasing power of the dollar slowly decreases, these metals tend to hold or even increase in value. When the dollar weakens, we often see a corresponding rise in gold and silver prices as investors seek safer, more stable assets. And while it's true that precious metals also fluctuate, they offer a different kind of stability. This stability is particularly appealing during times of uncertainty or when confidence in fiat currencies start to wane. Since the US dollar moved away from the gold standard in 1971, we've seen a dramatic loss in its purchasing power. For example, in 1971 a dollar had much more buying power than it does today. In fact, data shows that the dollar has lost around 86% of its purchasing power since that time. This gradual erosion means that while nominally the dollar may still look strong on international markets, it buys far less in real-world terms. This isn't an isolated problem. Almost every fiat currency in the world has seen similar declines in purchasing power over time. From the British pound to the Japanese yen, all currencies lose value as central banks issue more money to manage debt, respond to crises, or stimulate the economy. It's essential to understand that when we discuss a currency crisis, it doesn't necessarily mean an immediate collapse. Often, it's a long, slow erosion of value, a trend we've seen consistently throughout history. And as this erosion continues, investors naturally turn to assets that retain value over time. Another factor supporting the strength of precious metals is geopolitical uncertainty. The relationship between interest rates and gold or silver prices isn't just about economics, it's also about global events. As tensions rise around the world and governments continue to increase debt, investors worry about the stability of major currencies. The United States, Europe, and the UK are currently facing significant economic challenges. Central banks are reducing rates to stimulate economies, which could lead to further dollar weakness if the US economy slows down. Meanwhile, other countries, like China and Russia, have been accumulating gold to diversify away from the dollar, showing a growing skepticism about the future of the US currency. When central banks begin holding more gold and nations move away from the dollar in global trade, it reduces demand for the dollar. This shift further weakens its position and supports the value of gold and silver, as these metals are increasingly seen as a hedge against fiat currency risk. So as we look at the current strength of the dollar index, it's essential to see the bigger picture. Despite being propped up by global currency weakness, the dollar's purchasing power has been slowly declining for decades, a trend that shows no sign of stopping. For those concerned about the long-term stability of fiat currencies, gold and silver offer a hedge, one that has been trusted for centuries. If you're interested in preserving your wealth and protecting against potential currency risks, precious metals could be worth considering. Here at Illuminati Silver, we'll continue to explore these topics, keeping you informed of trends that impact your financial future. If you found this analysis helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, do you think the dollar can hold its value, or is it time to invest in precious metals? Now before you go, also check out our recent videos on precious metals, and if you've not done so already, please pop on over to our sister channel, Finances Do Matter, and make sure that you subscribe there. We've placed a link in both the description box and comments section below. Gold is currently standing at $2,763 an ounce and is up 38% in the last year alone, while silver stands at $34.23 and it is up 48% in the last 12 months. Even at these heights, we believe they have much further to go in the short, medium, and long terms. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon.